Yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. How long you been back, man? And when this beat drop, I know they gon' lean. World debut, I know they gon' fiend. Everything Mississippi to the Palm Springs. Girls from brunettes down to blonde queens. You know you like that. 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 You know you like that.
Hello and welcome to the final Arizona Sidewinders home game of the 2025 Western Ultimate League season. This week, the Arizona Sidewinders are playing against the returning 2024 WUL champions, the Colorado Alpenglow. Both teams met in week 4 of the 2025 season. Now the Sidewinders are back in the desert, hungry for a revenge win in front of their home crowd. A big thank you to everyone in attendance, including and especially our volunteers and staff, for making this event happen. We are excited to have several special guests in attendance tonight, including members of the Luke Air Force Honor Guard and the Desert Claws Dog Agility Club. Be sure to swing by the merchandise tent throughout the night to snag your Sidewinder replica, jerseys, apparel, sticker, hats, and more swag. And don't miss out. In celebration of our final game of the season, everything in the merch tent is 15% off, including official Breakmark replica items and our 2025 designs, including discs, fanny packs, and windbreakers. Are you feeling creative? Visit our free DIY sign table near the merch tent. Grab markers and poster board to make a sign for your favorite player. Are you craving something sweet or savory? The Tempe High School Band is running concessions in the stand where you can get snacks and drinks.
Good evening and welcome to the Western Ultimate League. I'm Michael Simeone. I'm here with Irene Faust. We are at Bruce Harper Stadium for the final game for the Arizona Sidewinders. It's their homestand against the visiting Colorado Alpenglow, who are undefeated at this point in the season. Irene, the conditions tonight don't seem like they're pretty terrific for Ultimate at all.
Not terrific at all. It is after coming off a day where we reached over 100 degrees during the day. They're playing on some turf, meaning that heat is residual. It could affect their play, making them a little slower. They may want to avoid those long points. It's also pretty windy. We're seeing about 13 to 15 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, we were taking a look at the windsock before the game and indexing some of the temperature, and I think the best way to describe these conditions is intense. Maybe a little bit of relief once the sun goes down, but
Hopefully.
for now, this is going to be a pressure cooker in more ways than one for the Arizona Sidewinders.
I agree.
As we take a look at the landscape for Western Ultimate League entering the second to last week of the season, Colorado Alpenglow, they couldn't be happier with their situation now.
Yeah, they're coming into this game undefeated, and they're looking to defend their championship from last year. I think that they have a lot to prove tonight because they need to win this game, because next week they are potentially playing the other undefeated team, and that could determine who is the number one seed in championship weekend.
Yeah, and with a point differential over the season of plus 27 for the Alpenglow, they have been absolutely dominant. On the flip side, as we take a look at the Sidewinders, you know, their situation is a little different schedule-wise at 0-5
Yes.
coming into their last game.
Yes. And they have had a tough season. They have shown promise, but there's always that one quarter where it seems like they just fall apart, and we want to see that not happen today. We're hoping that they can punch in that offense, get those defensive breaks, because they're getting those turns when they're on D. It's just finishing up that point.
And as the Alpenglow start to take the field, Irene, in your opinion, what is Colorado's kind of tactically looking to do in this game to make sure they get out of here with a win and not very much drama as they go into their next game?
I think their goal is to just be as clean as possible early on, see those opportunities to get some breaks early on and make that separation in the score, so they don't have to really have much of like a worry at any point in the game.
We saw in the last matchup between these teams, which the Alpenglow hosted up in Colorado, the deep shots for the Alpenglow were so effective
Yes.
and really just accelerating the scoring pace,
Yeah.
and they ran the Sidewinders off the field.
Yeah, so we're hoping tonight with the wind, maybe not as many deep shots will be as simple, but I will not be shocked if we see them stretch the field easily again.
Yeah, I think there's two ways this could go. One is the Sidewinders decide to speed up and try to match Colorado's
Yes.
pace. Maybe these conditions are a little bit more recognizable for the Arizona team than the Colorado team.
Yeah.
And maybe that means we're going to look at a game of two teams trying to go fast. Other way it could go, of course, is do they try to turn it into a much slower kind of grind-out matchup?
Right.
Time will tell.
Yeah, and there's times where I think the Sidewinders are more successful when they aren't rushing it. They tend to get those throwaways when they're rushing. They may be more successful if they slow it down and play their own game.
Colorado Alpenglow now on the team with their coach. Today they are coached by the head coach, Madison Olson, defensive coordinator, Lena Gorin, and offensive coordinator, Thomas Eccles. Now we'll wait a moment before the Arizona Sidewinders take the field, and we were just talking about some of their struggles this season and what they might be looking for out of the game, trying to get maybe a little more consistency and quality out of their possessions. What have you noticed about their defensive possessions once they get a block or force a turnover? What are you seeing out of Arizona right now this season so far?
What I've seen a lot is we'll get that turnover, and then it'll be a rush throw that causes that turnover. And so they need to just take a deep breath once they get that turn on defense and recognize that it's a time to cherish the disc like you are on the field line once you're on offense.
Yeah, and without that kind of consistent or reliable source of breaks and break opportunities close to the other team's end zone line, it's really hard to sustain offense against some of these defensive lines in the WUL. How about this for the Sidewinders? Their season has looked like two games against the currently undefeated Super Bloom and 2 games against the currently undefeated Alpenglow, and then pepper in the excellent Falcons, and then the Wild were a tough out as well.
Yes.
Schedule has not been kind to the Sidewinders this year either.
They have had a very tough schedule, and this is, as you said, their second game against this team this season, while the Alpenglow haven't played Super Bloom at all yet. So we've had 2 matchups against that team. It has been a tough schedule. They are showing that they are growing from it.
A lot of younger players, newer to the roster. on the Sidewinders tonight. I think we do see a mix of some of the older, more established players who we've seen play for the Sidewinders for 3-4 years now, and then a couple who it's their first year either on the roster or being rostered consistently. How do you think the new players might contribute or change the pace of this game in a matchup like this one?
I think our new players have actually been fairly consistent each week. Some of the new players that are coming from the Arkansas cohort have been successful in being on the O-line over and over. Stetmeyer comes to mind as a consistent scorer. These new players are also generating those Ds, so they are really showing a lot of fire, and they're helping out the team get that energy.
Yeah, for my part, I think I've also seen some of the younger players really help generate pressure on the poles on the defensive side of the disc. And here's the Sidewinders as they're assembling in their entirety on their coaching staff. Sidewinders are coached by head coach Melissa Hugrick, assistant coach Ross Barker, assistant coach Jax Salustro, assistant coach Charlie Hops, and assistant coach Travis Dunn. Sidewinders looking to get their first win of the season in pretty tough conditions against a very established opponent.
Yes.
And we'll pause the cast for a moment while the national anthem is performed by Arizona Sidewinders player Liv Shambliss.
Air Force Honor Guard to present the state and national. Number 4, Liv Chambliss sings the national anthem.
Right shoulder, hard. Guards ready, cut. Forward, march. Forward, time. Go! Halt! For reason! Halt!
Started as the teams are going to flip to see who begins on offense and on defense. Taking a look at these conditions just a little bit more, Irene. We've dropped a little bit. These teams were warming up in 100-degree weather, and it's cooled a little bit down to the low 90s. The wind is still pretty consistent, it looks like, and if you're viewing here on your screen, it'll be blowing kind of away and to the right. for your view, we've got a north-facing end zone and a south-facing end zone here at Bruce Harper Stadium. The other thing is that the air quality, because it's Arizona and it's hot, we've got a nice ozone plume kind of hanging over the field. I just have a feeling that the conditions are going to be taxing on the players tonight in ways that they might not be used to during other parts of the season.
And at times you don't realize how hard it is to breathe in those conditions.
Yeah, especially, and you pointed out the turf surface. You know, ordinarily a grass surface in conditions like this is pretty approachable. However, a turf surface tonight, as you mentioned, that heat retention, I think we're going to see these players on both squads dealing with maybe some of the hardest conditions we've seen. And again, you're not able to see it on the screen because it's not raining, the wind isn't, you know, cartoonish. Conditions that you can't see, I think, are going to make it hard on these players about how hot it is, how dry it is, and just how difficult it's going to be for the players to stay energetic and hydrated, especially, you know, if there start to be a lot of turnovers. These points are going to start getting long. I can't help but think this is going to be a factor.
Yeah, I suspect there will be some timeouts that are called at good times during this game, especially if there's a long point. It'll be very smart on the coaches to reserve those timeouts for those times to give their teams a breather, and also you get to replace lines.
Yeah, and I think if you made the point about the Sidewinders really needing to execute on the defensive side of the disc once they get the block. Fatigue is going to become a big issue on defense after getting the turn. Are they going to be able to sustain the fundamentals long enough to have a couple clean possessions off of a block?
As you said, this is somewhat Arizona weather. They should hopefully be used to it. We are typically playing in some crazy hot conditions. It's just early on in the year right now.
Observers now on the field. We've got 3 generations of frisbee player on the field for the Arizona Sidewinders. Lindsay Doyle, joined by her daughter and her mother. Lindsay Doyle on IR right now with Arizona, but they'll be working with the observers, Jen Wu and Paul Otto, as they facilitate the flipping of the plastic. Have to choose offense first, yes?
I feel like in the WUL offense is the better choice, but with the wind, you may want to choose the side right now.
Yeah, we've seen Alpenglow be kind of unbothered a lot of times by wind. That's not to say that their throws aren't affected by wind or that there haven't been turnovers. I just have yet to see them relent from their strategy of attacking the deep spaces on the field. That just seems to be a philosophy that they stick to in every game.
And on the other side, I think Colorado is more used to windy conditions, especially in the springtime while they're practicing.
Yeah, I think kind of stars in the deep space tonight that we could look for. You know, on the Arizona side, I think we've seen number 11 Mel Dunn be very effective. You know, player of the week last week.
Yeah, she had 4 goals, 4 assists last week, and was voted the player of the week, and very deservedly so. Another player that's in the deep space a lot for Sidewinders is Pisani. She is clutch back there. She'll always have sticky fingers and catch whatever comes towards her. Yeah,
and on the other side, I think if we're talking about a deep game tonight, we can't talk about the deep game in Colorado without talking about Abby Thorpe, who has just been, you know, a couple years ago, she was in the handler space for the Alpenglow. Then she switched to downfield and has just been on a rampage ever since, just kind of racking up stats downfield for them. You know, Rory Veldman, and then newcomer to the team for this year. You know, can't help but notice Rina Kawabata, who, you know, doesn't always go deep, but seems to always come up with the disc whenever they play. She's been terrific.
Sometimes those hockey assist players are the ones that are most important out there as well.
Yes. We've got the Alpenglow taking the field, and AZ has yet to claim their end zone. Just taking another minute to talk about the Alpenglow as we set the table. The other thing we want to call attention to is in terms of getting the disc downfield. You know, we mentioned you know, all the receivers, but you know, Ari Nelson, they have just been a long-range shooter now for years. very effective working with these downfield players for the Alpenglow.
Yeah.
Arizona's going to have to find a way to check them to make sure it's not just a lot of downfield production from their throws.
Yes, and I'm curious if the Sidewinders will try more zone looks to try to discourage those throws. But Ari, they have been so fantastic all year. They were Offensive Player of the Year last year. They are just having an incredible series.
Former Arizona Sidewinder
Yes,
for the
former
first year
Arizona.
of play for that team. And it looks like the Sidewinders are going to start out on defense as we have 12 on the clock for the first quarter. This is the last matchup for the Arizona Sidewinders in the 2025 season. They're in front of their home crowd waiting to be signaled for the pull, and we are off. The last game initiated by LP Aragon for the Sidewinders as Colorado O-line takes over. They're moving right away, and there's Thorpe. We were just talking about her on an in-cut. Ito back, and now blocked by Janet Wan.
That's a great block by Janet. Looks like Sidewinders were being tight person defense there.
That's Caroline O'Connell. She finds Wan in transition. Arizona's attacking right away. O'Connell now with the dump. O'Connell in control. She's going to send it deep. She's got a receiver. Arizona with the goal.
Arizona with the break to start. That is a very great way to start this game.
Great work by Kevin Eifert. Breaking deep right away and coming down with that one. Let's take another look.
What a beautiful OI. Right to space.
Yeah, great diving bid by Kawabata.
And that all started with Wan's D. What a good handler defense right there to get the break.
Point block right away. Arizona. We talked about making fundamental decisions. And it was nothing but space and crisp execution.
I agree.
Off the block by Wan. Arizona back on defense. 11:21 on the stadium clock.
Arizona starts with a break to start the game.
Here is O'Connell with the pull. She's pulling downwind. Arizona looking to get position and early pressure on this one. Can they sustain one break? Maybe get another.
Looks like they're waiting for half field throws right now.
Colorado working the disc back and forth. Veldman now centering it. Shot by Dixon. Deep. And they come up with it. They're knocking on the door. Red zone disc high in the air. Can it be defended? It's blocked.
That was blocked. Oh, foul call on the field.
Foul's going to be called. That's Sierra Ross with the block.
And thrown to Ellie Smith, who is an Arizona State current player about to graduate this week.
Smith making her case to the observer.
Looks like it's a foul contest, and that means it'll be sent back to the thrower.
Still a good stop by Ross,
That was a good
preventing a
stop.
goal. And here comes Colorado with another opportunity. And that is a bucket. 1-1. 10:48 to go on the stadium clock. Arizona up one break. The score is tied.
And as you said, you expected some deep throws from the Colorado Alpenglow, and they started that point off with a deep throw. It was basically one short throw and then deep space immediately.
Colorado responding. Clean hold. That's a clean hold for the Alpenglow. And they really needed that. Not wanting to go down. 2 breaks really set the tone in this game. Terrific block by Ross. And a contest by Smith kept it alive.
Yes, and then the Alpenglow just smartly went for the reset and then immediate score.
Pull by Facet Carmen. Deep down near the 20-yard line on our field.
I think it was caught potentially out of bounds, which
That's
means
Kate Powell, who caught it very close to the sideline. Had to make sure that wasn't out of bounds, but that's going to give plenty of opportunity for the Alpenglow to apply a lot of pressure. Here's Dunn down the sideline. Sidewinders pinned on the sideline. Can they get the disc to swing up and around and can't get hands on it? Leah Jamison, and now immediately it's going to be an attack to the end zone. Layout grab. It's caught.
Wow.
Great grab by Bristol Lavoie. Diving onto that scalding turf.
That was a fantastic grab. Here we see it again. And that was just a fast transition off of the defensive break. They saw the turn and immediately ran towards that end zone. A fantastic grab.
Grace Brown with the assist on that one. Just enough lead
Just
to
enough.
turn that into a goal. We're back on serve. 10-12 on the stadium clock. 2-1 advantage Colorado Alpenglow. Sidewinders on offense for the first time this game. Arizona communicating the game plan. That's Applegate, who is very much one of the leaders on this offensive line. Applegate to grab the pole, which went wide out of bounds and short. Sidewinders are going to start this one with a short field.
Looks like they're going for a side stack formation almost right now.
Got Goldstein, Stepmeyer, and Dunn in the side stack. That's Jamison setting the stack. Now it's an isolation play for Pisani. She's up and away. It's going to be holstered for now. Applegate's going to send it to Jamison. Jamison surveying. She's running out of time. Stall count's getting high. She's going to try to find Applegate. Applegate able to scoop it off the turf. Applegate now floating to Dunn. Dunn's there. Now immediate backhand release. This is Pisani. Can she get it? A little wide.
Good idea. The wind potentially just threw it a little more out than Dunn expected.
You can see the Sidewinders wanting to be aggressive on this short field. They've got a nice position to play defense. And the Alpenglow are going to be moving upwind. No around force. It's going to be up and away.
Oh, good effort.
Now, here's Thorpe. She's going to send it deep. Shayna Brock. She's got it. That's a goal. Alpenglow up 3-1. And the Sidewinders going from what seemed like a possible goal. Now they're down another.
It was close effort, as you said. Thorpe started as a handle, so no shock that Thorpe is also throwing that disc deep. And it was a good transition once again from the Colorado Alpenglow. It seems like they do not take for granted those turns from D to O.
Yeah, Jamison almost had that
That was
block.
very close by
That would have
Jamison.
been a big moment.
That would have been a great moment.
Alpenglow up 3-1, 8:50 to go on the stadium clock. Wind showing no signs of letting up, even though the sun has set. Both teams running hard right now. We talked a lot about the conditions, but both teams look fresh and dialed in. Veldman with the pole. It's going to continue to push north. I say north. It is west. Pushing away from the viewer and the cameras today.
Due north.
That wind is certainly a factor on a couple plays into that corner of the field today. This is Aragon. She'll initiate off the brick. She's checked by 51, Grace Brown for the Alpenglow. This is Donahue with the in-cut. Terrific work downfield by Hannah Heaton.
Oh,
And a turnover.
just slightly underthrown to Aragon.
Alpenglow now working their way back downfield. It's Carolyn Villick. That's really trying to find an open side of the field is Vlack. This is Lavoie, then moves it to Brown, and then the score is caught by Lavoie. Great combination work. Several downfield players able to stretch that. Let's take a look at the goal.
And this looked like a full team point by Colorado. They really slowed down their disc movement, and almost everyone on the field touched the disc in that little possession there.
Yeah, for a minute, Brown was working in the backfield there to kind of open some things up. And now the pressure's on. The defense really did a good job of the Alpenglow of kind of closing down the dump space.
Yes, they are really pressuring those resets, and that's causing those either underthrows or overthrows when we were trying to get that recount of the stall.
Sidewinders back on offense. They're down 4-1.
This is a pull by Ellie Smith.
Smith, her pull will land on the 30. This is Applegate. Applegate sent across the field to Dunn. Can she keep it in? Not quite.
Just a little too high for Dunn, but good idea to use the whole width of the field there.
This is Pesh. Will be getting things started for Colorado. She's joined by Mimic in the backfield. Gonna go wide and then back to the middle. That's Alicia Dixon with the action there, and it's going to be blocked. That's Goldstein able to come up with the stop.
That's good effort by Goldstein. Let's see if the Sidewinders take advantage of this break opportunity.
Applegate working together with Powell. That's Pisani, who's going to send it immediately to Goldstein. Goldstein's going to send a rocket down the field. It's going to skip off the turf. Here's Pesh. Finds Dixon. Dixon back to the middle to Mimak. Dixon doing a good job of keeping the reset low.
The Sidewinders have been able to slow down Colorado's offense a bit.
Stockdale looking for an answer. It's going to go up and high. Dixon,
Ooh.
can she? Yes, she does.
What a
Able to
grab.
get it away from Dunn. And we've got a goal.
There's
Number
a call in the
5.
field, actually. Oh, timeout.
Scratch that. Timeout's going to erase the goal momentarily for the Colorado Alpenglow.
Oh, it's a stall call according to 57 by the hand signal.
Stetmeyer's claiming that we reached the full stall count. 7 seconds. And that was actually several throws back.
Mhm.
That was before Dunn and Dixon squared off in the air. Arizona's so close on a lot of these blocks. I mean,
Yes.
this situation in particular is kind of undone by the stall call. But
Mhm.
And that
And-
stall is upheld.
The turnover upheld. Let's see if the Sidewinders can convert this to a point.
Applegate. Back to Powell. To Applegate again on a give and go. Applegate's got 2 receivers streaking downfield. She's going to look for Dunn underneath. Dunn scanning. Dumping back. Give and go. And now we're going to go back to the wing to Pisani, who was stretching deep earlier. She's come back. Pisani's, her throw gets blocked.
That was a good hand block. It looked like Sidewinders were starting to generate some field space there.
Now, on the sideline and moving fast are the Colorado Alpenglow. And going to go back field for a moment with Dixon. And now streaking upfield, that's Mimak, who's going to send it into the end zone, and it's going to be a block by Goldstein. Here's Powell. This is getting to be a long point for both teams. We're starting to see the pace of things slow down downfield. This is Goldstein, who finds energy to get open downfield. She's going to look to dump it off again. This is Jamison. Powell. Back to Applegate. Applegate's going to rip it. That's Dunn on Dixon. It's short. Dunn's got it.
Dunn got there. That was good.
Stetmeyer trying to make something happen for Dunn. Stetmeyer exploding.
Oh.
Not quite.
I bet the players were really wanting that score because this has been a long point.
Such heavy legs all around the field here. And the Alpenglow are going to make the long march back upwind, trying to get their 5th point. Let's see what Sarah Pesh does with this one. She's going to send it high and around. Nice shot,
Ooh,
but it's
immediately
dropped.
teed.
38, Macy Lang made a nice cut, but couldn't get her hand on it. This is Jameson. Jameson's going to send it right away to Dunn, who seems to be open all day today. Back to Applegate. Applegate sees Powell streaking upfield. Forgive me, Dunn streaking upfield. That's Powell. Powell finds Goldstein. Goldstein sees the back of the end zone. Goldstein turns back to the middle of the field. Here's swing action to Powell. Wide open is Jameson. That's a goal.
The Sidewinders definitely earned that hold right there. They were patient once they got to that end zone. They were pressuring the defense when they're there. And let's see this replay. Powell across from Applegate and then immediate break throw to Jameson. That was a good use of the whole width of the field. And I think that's the most patient I've seen them in a while on their end zone. It looked really good.
You know, we saw a turnover happen earlier in the game from the Sidewinders, and then we really bottled up on the sideline. And keeping that stall clock low. They were able to stretch that field and get the disc wide. It's 2-4 against the Colorado Alpenglow. Sidewinders and Alpenglow exchanging blows here. Sidewinders are back on defense. Let's see what kind of pressure they're able to generate on this pole. They're going downwind. This pole goes well past the 30.
Beautiful
and
pole.
past the 20. Can they apply pressure? Alpenglow out wide. Another downfield. This is Thorpe. Thorpe's so dangerous. She's going to send it deep. It's too high to be easy. It's going to be blocked.
There's double coverage downfield. Good idea, but Sidewinders are doing a better job of covering that deep space.
McLaughlin, so dangerous in deep space. We didn't mention her to my detriment, but such a dangerous player downfield. We've got a Nationals player, Worlds player, a WUL champion, but that disc was really high, and the help defender made things really difficult to finish off that play. This is Eifert, who sends a backhand laser downfield. It can't find another Sidewinder. Does
Going
change
back
position.
deep space. Looks like we're
pretty good rip by Ari Nelson, but a little too far as Eifert picks up. Eifert's going to send it. It's too high.
both
Madison
teams.
Spiegel.
It looks like both teams are having a tendency to overthrow right now. Let's see if they calm down while they're on offense.
Nelson flipping it to Lavoy.
Ooh.
So,
Hold on.
Her hands on that one. And it's going to get shot into the end zone high and
The greatest attempt.
The greatest not.
Oh. Good effort.
Flipped back in bounds. Sidewinders back on offense. And it's going to be sent right away. Sent right back to the Alpenglow to Rina Kawabata, who's able to pick up a block. Alpenglow looking to switch fields here.
I think there was a pick call on the field.
Nelson really trying to move to the west side or far side of the field here tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like the Alpenglow really prefers to get the disc to the break side as much as possible.
Nelson, inside shot. Open teammate, looks like another
Yes.
call downfield.
It's like a possible stall call. And it was upheld.
Chip Chang able to stop Nelson just long enough to get the stall call. It's going to get sent right away.
Ooh.
And skips at the turf at the feet of Hannah Heaton. Back and forth point now.
It has been very back and forth. I am hoping that Colorado right now will slow the disc down, look for those easy open throws, but Sidewinders are putting on tough defense.
Less than 60 seconds to go in the quarter. As the Alpenglow try to get another goal to try to extend their lead. Lavoy, reliable downfield.
It's like another pick call on the field.
We'll have a stoppage of play. You know, we talked about, was this going to be a slower paced game? Or was this going to be a game that stretched the field? Turns out it's both.
Yeah, it's a little column A, a little column B.
That's Thorpe working in combination with.
Call on the field.
There's another call on the field.
My assumption would be a travel call. We'll see.
Yeah, we had Thorpe working with Kawabata there to try to just spring things away from the Sidewinder defense. Not so fast. We've got 49 seconds on the stadium clock.
And it's a race to either score or hold possession right now.
Alpenglow getting it off the sideline. That's May Hecht, who's going to send it back upfield to Nelson. Nelson looking downfield. She's got an open teammate downfield. They're going to move it back to the middle. Hecht now too wide. Little too inside.
It's about 28 seconds left of the Sidewinders hold on. They have until the end of possession to score.
Aragon. Not a lot of options for Aragon, and the Sidewinders don't like it. They're going to call a timeout. Coaching staff sees 22 seconds to go and a chance to bring it within one.
Especially when it's been this long of a point, and the score right now, if they get that score, means that they're down by 1 versus down by 2. So very smart timeout by the coaches. On this possession, they're hoping to hold on to that disc for the full 20 seconds, so there isn't another chance as well for Colorado to score.
Yeah, and how Colorado was playing the dump set was pretty appropriate.
Yes.
I don't know how there would have been an acceptable dump pass off of the situation the Sidewinders are in now. I think just getting off the field, being able to reset the stall is good enough.
Yes.
But we'll also see what kind of play they draw up to try to make something happen.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, they don't have to score in 23 seconds,
Right.
but they do have to maintain possession.
Yes. Yeah, their goal, maintain possession. If they score before that, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but they're hoping to maintain possession and get that score.
Sure, they'd be happy to score in 15.
Oh, I would be very happy as well.
This is Applegate with the disc. She's joined by Jameson, who's lined up as her dump. And we've got Sonny Harris on the far side, and the handler set Donahue downfield, joined by Pisani. It's going to be
Good pickup.
right into the hands of Harris, who comes to the rescue. Pisani slashing across the field. She'll dish it to Stetmeyer. Sidewinders working left to right. They don't seem like they're in any hurry to go north-south on this field, and that's the end of our time. If they can... And that turnover will mark the end of the quarter.
They held possession through end of time, but unfortunately an immediate turn right afterwards. I felt like this post-timeout, though, we saw the Sidewinders move the disc very easily off the sideline to the opposite end of the field, so I was hoping for some big plays off of that.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just looking to spring some sort of gap in the defense, but as soon as that gap came, a drop. But here we are at 2-4 with a pretty activity-full quarter, not a high score, plenty of things happening.
Yes. I think those last 2 or 3 points are each maybe over 5 minutes of game time. It felt very long from the booth. I'm sure the players felt like it was longer.
Yeah, we saw the first 3-4 points of this game, and the players looked sharp, and quality of play, especially on those deep shots, looked very, very precise. Now we're starting to see the Heat catch up with players, where we see turnovers kind of in rapid succession. See what this does in the second quarter.
Creatine is only for extreme athletes who eat dominance.
Actually, let's skip that part. Combat Candy is for everyone who trains hard and deserves better than choking down powder. 5 grams of science-backed creatine in a gummy that turns supplement routine into something to look forward to. Just because your workout is serious business doesn't mean your creatine supplement has to be. Combat Candy. Making strength frickin' delicious. Try it at combatcandies.com.
second quarter.
And we're back. Joining us now for the beginning of the second quarter, Colorado Alpenglow visiting the Arizona Sidewinders for their final game of the season. Alpenglow got one more next week, a showdown with the San Diego Super Bloom. We've got 12 minutes on the clock for the second quarter. We've got the Alpenglow on defense. Veldman delivering the pull. Probably the best pull we've seen tonight so far.
Absolutely
going this
gorgeous.
direction. Here's Powell.
Bit more of a zony look from Alpenglow.
Goldstein outside. You can immediately see those Alpenglow players who are sagging into those inside spaces, trying to take away the easy looks.
Good
Applegate,
grab,
diving grab,
Applegate.
yes. Donahue working together with Applegate.
Just toes it in.
Stepmeyer dishing to Powell. It looks like the zone has collapsed. They've called out of it.
A stall call in the throw.
We're going to be bringing it back. Mary Andrews for the Alpenglow thinking she's got Powell at a 7-second stall.
And it looked like Alpenglow went out of their zone into a more tight person at the time of that throw. All right, so it's retracted. And
Stall
the play
call
stays.
retracted. Jameson to Donahue.
Oh, good effort.
Alex able to come up with it. And now Applegate ripping it inside out. And now Donahue outside in! Pisani past a diving Veldman.
That score must feel really good for the Sidewinders. That was a clean hold to start the second quarter. Look at Applegate being patient, looking downfield, getting the break. Donahue is so patient there. And what a good effort by Veldman, just probably inches away from that disc.
Clean hold for the Sidewinders. It took 1 minute. It is currently Sidewinders 3, Alpenglow 4. Sidewinders back on defense. We haven't yet seen, Irene, a lot of pressure on these pulls brought by the Sidewinders. I don't know if that's part of the plan, to kind of sink into a shell and let them have the first few throws, but hold solid. But what do you see?
I think that they're doing that to stop the immediate deep throw. It seems like that's their game plan going in. They're about stopping half field, and then once they notice they need to come closer, they'll be patient and then take away that middle of the field afterwards.
That said, Thorpe's got it on a give and go with Nelson. Nelson looking downfield. She's got a streaking Thorpe. She'll swing it.
There's
Backhand
two.
shot towards the end zone, broken up by Spiegel. Aragon, who's got nearly the whole field to look at from the sideline there, sending it up line to Chang. Chang looking like she really wants to send it downfield. It'll skate.
Good effort to keep the play in.
Spiegel, great grab there.
Oh.
Chang can't quite keep her hands on it.
Sidewinders really worked on this play to keep that disc in. Let's see what Alpenglow does.
Nelson right away to McLaughlin. Challenged by Eifert. What will
Oh.
McLaughlin, what a grab!
That was such a great grab by McLaughlin, and of course the throw is from no one else but Nelson. That was such a good combo. This is an immediate turn. See that deep throw? And Helen was so close there. You know that she wants it next time. She's going to get it.
Former teammates squaring off on that one. Great closing speed by Eifert. Another block that nearly happened for the Sidewinders, but not tonight. But great catch and great run by Jade McLaughlin.
The Sidewinders are putting a lot of pressure on those deep throws, which we like to see. That's probably what is keeping this game so close so far. Let's hope that they keep that up this quarter.
3-5, advantage Alpenglow. Sidewinders back on offense. Conditions less windy now than they were in the first quarter. The pull still short for the Alpenglow. Sidewinders in reasonable position to start this one. Applegate catches it in the middle. Applegate to Goldstein. Goldstein sending it back to Applegate. Applegate to Dunn. Dunn sending it deep to Stepmeyer. It's a grab. It's a goal. Stepmeyer's got her first one tonight.
Another clean hold this quarter from the Sidewinders. Dunn immediately looking downfield and just a beautiful throw to space to Stepmeyer. Beautiful grab. This is what the Sidewinders need. They need to generate these points a little faster in this quarter just to get the game closer. Right now we're within 1 point. If we get a break, it's tied.
9.5 to go in this second quarter. Stepmeyer so effective for the Sidewinders downfield in her home debut against the Bay Area Falcons. It seems like she's back at it now, recording a point in the second quarter.
Yeah, and she's one of those players that's new to the Sidewinders this year that has been a very crucial roster person.
This is Aragon setting up the defensive line. A younger line here. A lot of those newer players we were talking about on this defensive line. And we can see the pressure immediately, the defensive scheme here. As the Sidewinders sprint to their spots, as you mentioned, trying to hold that half field and slow down that deep shot. Nelson is going to send it to the sideline. Alpenglow will stay on the sideline. Thorpe trying to move it off. Thorpe to Nelson. Nelson's going to send it up and high to Thorpe again. And then Thorpe inside out immediately to Veldman. Kawabata offering there. Veldman in the middle of the field. Time running out. And gets it to Thorpe, but was it in time? We're going to have another stall. We'll see if it's upheld. It did seem like Veldman had possession for quite some time.
I agree, and it seems like the Sidewinders are really clamping down on those reset defenders. The observer said no stall.
No stall. Veldman. Nelson. Veldman!
Oh, what a grab by Veldman. I think that is Nelson's third or fourth assist this game as well.
Great shot.
It was a beautiful inside shot. Let's see. Give the fake.
And a great shot on the end zone selling, too.
I'm wondering if that was meant for 21 Kawabata.
Little jump shot by Veldman.
Veldman was close earlier with that layout D, so I'm glad that Veldman got a layout score just now. That was a beautiful grab right there.
Sidewinders on offense. It's 4-6. We've got 8:40 left. And you could see that there was pressure on that point as the Sidewinders rushed to their spots. Again, looking like they were trying to close down that first throw. But it looks like the way that the Alpenglow are trying to get past this is do a little bit of give and go action until they get to the middle of the field and then release deep anyways.
And then they'll send someone from the back space of the field deep, and that really throws off the defense on Sidewinders.
It was Powell. Applegate.
To space.
Dunn. Dunn to Pisani. Pisani doesn't have a lot of options downfield, but she does have Paige Applegate. Applegate to Donahue. Donahue's going to send it forehand to Pisani.
Ooh.
A little too far. Could have been big.
It's like there may be a call on the field.
We'll have a quick stoppage as Donahue, she looks like she had a shin slide earlier. Goldstein in for Donahue, who left the field on an injury after making a diving or sliding grab on that turf.
Donahue's put in every effort to make sure that just stays in play on offense.
This is Grace Brown, checked by Applegate. Can the Sidewinders stop the Alpenglow here? And it's going to be a backhand shot downfield. Caught! Great work by Rabbit Faust and Carmen.
Really great work. She utilized her height there.
Lavoie back to Fawcett Carmen. Working give and go now for the Alpenglow. Lavoie, McLaughlin. Knocking on the door now are the Alpenglow. Applegate trying to get her hands on it. We're just going to flip it into the end zone. Wide open players in the end zone for the Alpenglow. And McLaughlin comes away with it, slashing to the front of the end zone. Alpenglow 7, Sidewinders 4.
That was lovely patience in the end zone. Alpenglow went from one side of the field to another multiple times, and that assist was from former Sidewinders of last year, Megan Maxfield. I think that Megan's had a good season here with Alpenglow. We definitely miss having her on our side.
How about Carolyn Block, too, in the end zone?
So good.
Back on the other side of the field, doing all she can to get open and make sure that the Sidewinders can't collapse on that dump space with a helper.
I think both teams have really upped their defensive pressure, and it is showing on getting those high stall count throws and really challenging the resets.
Sidewinders are inches away from a much closer score, but I feel like we've been saying that quite a bit this season. But it just shows how close they are as a team.
Yes.
We'll see if they can string together an offensive sequence to keep things close. It's 4-7. This is Chang. Aragon. That's Cynthia Thomas streaking downfield. Janet Wan is going to send it back to Chang. Chang out to the side to Harris. Harris back to the middle to Eifert. It's too much. Sidewinders are going to be back on defense. Dixon sending it deep immediately. This is Thorpe. Thorpe's able to get it over Eifert. What a grab by Thorpe. Thorpe flips it into the end zone. It's a diving grab.
Nice.
What a goal, Ellie Smith.
And Ellie Smith is residing in Arizona. She just graduated from Arizona State and is playing with the Alpenglow. It's great to see her get a score with her hometown crowd on the away team tonight. And, of course, that throw from Thorpe and that grab from Thorpe was amazing. I'm hoping we see that in the replay. With two defenders and just skying them, that is such an athletic move, and to just get the body space when you probably weren't winning on that body space is amazing. Insane grab by Ellie to make sure that was inbounds.
Yeah, and really a lot of contact on that play. Thorpe just got up and made the right throw immediately, stayed collected, and really great work by Smith to kind of juke Heaton to the front of the end zone and then get a clean release, layout grab. 8 points for Alpenglow now. Sidewinders looking like they're falling behind. Can they start making up the difference? It's 4-8. We've got 6.5 to go in this half. This is Caroline O'Connell. She's working with Applegate. Brown on Applegate. Powell back to Applegate. Now Dunn on the near sideline. Applegate working hard on this point. It's going a little wide. Stepmeyer can't get it. Lavoie. Mimak. It's going to be sent downfield. Maxfield. Centered now for the Alpenglow. Now sent to the end zone line. Diving catch.
Oh, almost.
Almost into the hands of Veldman.
That was very close. Immediate deep.
Deep shot. Stepmeyer, she's got it just over half field. Now the stall count's still going. There's not much time left. Stepmeyer has got to find an option.
Timeout call, I'm guessing?
Timeout is the option.
That's a good call by the coaches. Stepmeyer received that disc all alone in the downfield, and it took a long time for their teammates to get down to help them out. This is a break opportunity for the Sidewinders, so it was very smart to call that timeout. We need to keep the game in.
I think it's actually their offensive possession.
Oh, it is offensive possession.
I mean, but still an incredibly important.
I'm working on Saturday.
Well, you know, I think this is just such a key moment.
It is.
Sidewinders, the difference between 5 and 8 5 to 8 versus 4 to 9.
Yes.
With just a little over 5 to go in this half. This is assistant coach Travis Dunn working with the line right now.
Looks like they're putting in a lot of their typical D-line players, along with Paige and Brittany Stetmeyer. So it is looking like a good mix of a team right now.
See what kind of attack comes out after the timeout. Sidewinders lined up vertically. Looks like Chambliss out to the side and in isolation. She'll clear right away. She comes up with it on the backhand side. Chambliss working with Applegate. Applegate now sending it back to Wan. Sending it right into the middle to Applegate, who's going to send it out to space to Stetmeyer. Stetmeyer runs through, not quite able to get it. Great stop.
It's like an injury call.
That's number 12, Mary, or 32, forgive me. That's Rachel Stockdale, who came up with a great stop.
And it looks like Stetmeyer stepping out as well. That was a lot of contact on that throw.
Both players leaving their feet, it looked like, leaning into the space, trying to make a play.
I think both were somewhat blind of each other in that moment, which is sometimes a little dangerous on that field.
Stockdale coming up with a big stop for her team. And now the Sidewinders are back on defense. And the Alpenglow are going to have to go the length of the field. They've got 5 minutes to go. Plenty of time. And the Sidewinders apply pressure. And it's going to be a break to Dixon. Dixon working downfield. McLaughlin. It's going to go out to Mimak. Mimak now.
Timeout call. It looked like there were no options. So similar thing where the Sidewinders now are the ones putting on all the pressure, causing a timeout to avoid that turnover.
Yeah, and Mimak working against Falk. You know, Mimak has a height advantage on Falk, but Falk's mark was really active there. And really helped contribute to forcing a timeout for the Alpenglow.
Yeah, and that was team-wide defense. I don't think Mimic had many options downfield, so that was also helping out the mark of Falk.
Alpenglow trying to come up with a way
Looks like
to
an almost
escape this side of the field.
An almost completely new line as well, because this has been a long point in the heat, so it looks like they're going to try to get as many fresh legs out there.
On defense, looking to dig a point out of this sequence. Trying to get it to 5-8. First quarter, very close. Second quarter, not as much. Sierra Ross on the mark for the Sidewinders.
It's like immediate beat from Feldman.
Shot wide. It's going to be caught by Kawabata. Feldman now in a great position to attack downfield. Sidewinders stop that. Nelson. To Veldman. Nothing for Veldman. Nelson again. Downfield, the Alpenglow look like they're not moving very much off this sequence.
Like a high stall count there, but got it off in time.
Veldman and Nelson work together very productively until the downfield action can catch up. And now Nelson, who has it blocked away.
It's like by Sierra Ross. Good pressure by the Sidewinders, and great job, Sierra, on getting that D against Nelson. That is a tough matchup.
Sidewinders with a chance here.
Woo!
Grabbed along the sideline. Now back to the middle. This is Wan. He's got Spiegel outside. Spiegel rising high to get that one with one hand. And it's broken up by Thorpe. Good attacking position. This is dangerous.
Very dangerous. Let's see if
Thorpe tracking it. Got it.
Plenty of time for Thorpe to get there.
9 points for the Colorado Alpenglow. Great work by May Hecht on that point as well,
Really great work.
sending it to Thorpe.
And we're seeing glimpses of what we saw in the first quarter of turn, immediately run deep. The Alpenglow was putting on that pressure. I think both Sidewinders and Alpenglow in that point were defensively really tight. Let's look at this replay. There's the turnover. Immediately pick up. Perfectly thrown to space to Thorpe. Thorpe had time to do a little pose before catching.
I think Thorpe takes such joy
Mm-hmm.
in getting open deep.
Oh, there's no better thing as a cutter, though, so no shock.
Sidewinders back on offense. They've got 3.5 to go on the stadium clock. Here's Chip Chang centering to Harris. And great save by Goldstein. This point's alive. Stetmeyer charging in. And downfield cutting is aggressive for the Sidewinders in this
Oh.
sequence, but Pisani bobbles it.
Very rare drop from Pisani.
And now we're back on offense for the Alpenglow. Lavoie. Center. Alpenglow playing a high game here as the disc continues to float on some of these give-and-go passes.
They're being very patient and utilizing the width of the field right now.
Brown stuck on the sideline for a minute, but a diving catch to save the sequence by Mary Andrews. Andrews inside out to Lavoie. Red zone offense now. Great position now for the
Oh.
Alpenglow, but a backwards pass from Facet Carmen goes awry. Intended for Andrews.
Looks like injury call.
That's
Looks
gonna
like Grace
be
Brown.
Grace Brown who will leave the field. Facet Carmen looking really dangerous in the handler
Yes.
space, open a lot and moving the disc quickly.
I was going to say if Alpenglow scored on that point, it was very much handled by their handlers on that point.
Sidewinders able to put the brakes on that
Mhm.
offense just enough for an
And Sidewinders really need this hold because we need to keep ourselves in that game. It's 4-9 right now.
Chang,
Chip.
backhand shot, Dunn. Dunn's headed to the end zone. Dunn's got a chance. Dunn's got it.
Plenty of time.
She's got her team up another point. It's 5-9. Sidewinders get a quick one off that turnover.
That was a definite classic Chip Chang, classic Mel Dunn on that score. Chip really wanted to throw it deep, and of course Chip threw it deep to Mel, who was able to read it and have all the time in the world to catch that disc in the end zone. She's very excited. That was a crucial point for the Sidewinders because we want to avoid that 4-10 score. Look at Dunn. Plenty of time. Classic.
Open by 10 yards.
Yeah.
Chip Chang says, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, I think open by 5 yards for Dunn. Dunn can get there.
More points for Dunn
Mm-hmm.
in the month of May. And we'll continue the Sidewinders' attempts to slow down the Alpenglow's offense, which worked very well in the first quarter, but not as well in the second. More turnovers for the Sidewinders in this second, of course, but looking for more defensive pressure. as
Looks
the
like they're
ball sails out of
waiting.
bounds.
Half field again for the offense to meet them. They are slowing down those initial deep throws again.
This is O'Connell on number 20, Nelson. Nelson's going to send it to Thorpe. Thorpe's going to send it out to McLaughlin. McLaughlin's going to have to send it back to the middle. Everything well covered downfield as Nelson takes another shot. Dissecting this Sidewinders defense. Great grab by Macy Lang. And now things are going to come back across to Nelson. Nelson's going to send a blade to McLaughlin.
That's a tough catch. Good idea on the space. That was the only way to get it to an open McLaughlin, but that is a very tough disc to read.
Sidewinders able to gum things up just enough. And now they'll be picking up in this corner. This is Aragon. This is the downwind corner of the field. And O'Connell's able to grab that one. She's just going to launch it.
Oh,
And it's tipped.
Kawabata was right there to deflect that disc. Good positioning downfield.
Spiegel, you get the sense that she would have had it had Kawabata not intervened. And the Sidewinders are going to play some more defense. Hecht in the dump set, clearing. And we've got a timeout called on the field. As the Alpenglow can sense that we've got not very much time left in this half.
Yes.
With just 65 seconds. This seems like an important one.
I agree. They wanting to really calm down their offense and maybe talk about a reset play right now. Of course, Colorado will consider holding the clock. They don't need to rush to score at all. I won't be shocked if they score immediately, though. They're a very talented team, especially with sending it deep when someone's open down there.
I don't mean to just arbitrarily say that one point is more important than another,
Yes.
but it feels like 6-9 is going to be a much better score for the Sidewinders to walk out of this
Yes.
one than 5-10.
Everyone would prefer that other score. I agree. And the Sidewinders right now, I think every point is crucial. They need to score as much as they can. Right now they're down by 4, and anytime they can get a hold and any break opportunity, they need to take advantage of. Right now they're working to get this hold on this point. If they can get that turn before 1 minute is up, hopefully they have that chance.
Yeah, the difference between a 3 and 5 point deficit at this point is so significant. Sidewinders, we look to see them bring everything on this one. And we're off. Dixon covered by Wen. Sidewinders, great pressure. Clock getting high.
Stall. An immediate stall.
Ross on the mark calls a stall.
Communication potentially indicating that it's going to be contested.
Nelson thinking she had maybe another split second.
Yeah, potential
with that.
fast counting.
Really great coverage by the Sidewinders
Mm-hmm.
on all the action.
And really good pressure by Ross on that mark.
Observer Paul Otto. Looks like the contest was upheld. It'll be brought in at stall 4. Ross versus Nelson, round 2.
Clarification from the observer.
We've got Hecht working on Falk in the middle, or at the front of the stack, trying to get something open. Hecht is able to get it off the sideline and relieve the pressure. Going to get sent wide. Kawabata breaking the mark. It's high, but it's caught.
Ooh.
Lavoie to Hecht. Sent high, sent deep. Kawabata
What
catches
a beautiful read by
it. What a
Kawabata.
grab. It's a goal. Alpenglow come away with it. 10 points. Now leading 10-5 on the Arizona Sidewinders. 30 seconds to go in the half.
Kawabata is having such a great game. You mentioned Kawabata earlier at the start of the game, and we just see them being a part of these points every time that they're out there.
Yeah, Facet Carmen on the assist. Let's take another look.
That is such a tough read, and to have defense right there and still come down with the disc, that is very impressive by Kawabata.
Yeah, you get the sense Facet Carmen just wanted to get
Yes.
it moving as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And
I think Facet Carmen had a lot of trust in Kawabata there, and that's why they threw it.
probably had some designs that throw wasn't quite going to take that shape.
Yeah.
But here we are. They've got a goal.
It still worked.
It's
so
10-5. That's right. Sidewinders back on offense as the Alpenglow try to put the pressure on. An 11-5 lead would be commanding.
Another fantastic pull.
Applegate as the defense gets in position for the Alpenglow, working with Jameson. Dump action as there's a curl cut by Applegate. Applegate high release. She's going to find Pisani. Pisani's going to send it right away to Dunn. Done. Running out of time. She's going to have to find something. We got a timeout.
It almost looks like there may have been a call.
We heard the chime for stoppage, typically associated with a timeout. But I think we've got a contested stall
Yes.
situation. Is that what you're seeing?
I definitely feel like this is contested arm motion, so it could have been another potential fast count.
Yeah, Shayna Brock.
Looks like they're adding 2 seconds.
We've
And
got a
this will come
contested
in.
stall, no stall. No
So
stall.
Dunn's goal here is to get that reset, and Sidewinders need to maintain possession until a score.
Here's Powell. It looks like she's the one, and she's got it. Powell's going to send it across the field.
Oh, immediately turned.
Veldman breaking up the play to Stettmeyer. And that is zeros on the clock. That's the end of the first half. We've got an intense half and a score of 10-5 in the favor of the Alpenglow. You get the sense the Sidewinders are inches away from this being something like 9-7.
Yes. And the Sidewinders are really putting on the pressure. It's just unfortunate miscues or turnovers that are not allowing them to punch in that score. This first half, it was completely different 2 quarters, I'll say.
5 points certainly within striking distance with another 24 minutes of play left. Both teams have looked like they've shown flashes of being able to really dampen each other's efforts on offense.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break for halftime. We'll see you on the other side to see how this one ends up. Thanks for joining us for the Western Ultimate League.
Please welcome to the field Dan and Mariah Brackney and their incredible team from Desert Paws Agility.
fired up, I just jumped out of my seat.
Wow! What a beautiful grab!
Let's announce all of our handlers and their dogs tonight. Carmichael handled by Dan. Quiver and Rory handled by Mariah. Ethel and Frankie handled by Jen. Storm handled by Annette. Scarlett handled by Alex. Winston handled by Ashley. Nebo handled by Haley. Louis handled by Karen. and twist, handled by Joe. Fans get ready for high-energy showcase of speed, skill, and precision. Let's hear it for Desert Dogs Agility. We're going to start off with a red versus blue relay race. Elimination, then relay race. Double trouble on the field. What a great showcase by Desert Paws Agility. Our relay race is now in action. Fans, who do you think's gonna win, red or blue? Place your bets now. Right, like red is in the lead. Can they maintain? And red has won. What a great showcase by Desert Paws Agility. Fans, as they're clearing the field, just a reminder to be sure to head to Saltfire Brewing for the after party immediately after the game. 50% of all pizza sales, go to support your Arizona Sidewinders.
Welcome back on the other side of halftime. You're watching Western Ultimate League. Arizona Sidewinders hosting the Colorado Alpenglow. We've got a score of 10-5. Alpenglow up. Irene, what have you seen in this first half that the Sidewinders has got to address quickly?
The Sidewinders need to, as we said at the start, really consistently maintain possession when they're on offense. It looks like they're doing a few throwaways here and there or some miscues with that tight defense from the Alpenglow.
Also, the Veldman matchup has been so difficult to solve on both sides of the disc. She has just been outstanding.
Veldman has been fantastic. Veldman finished that first half with 2 goals and 1 assist.
Speaking of critical to the offense, Nelson picking up off a bricked pull. Arizona Sidewinders looking to apply pressure. Here's Ross. Break side throw, caught diving grab by Thorpe. O'Connell looking to slow things down. But the pace continues for the Alpenglow. They're ripping downfield. As McLaughlin now commands on the sideline, sends it to Thorpe. Thorpe looking to get it back to the middle of the field. She's going to have to send it low and wide, but it's caught by 38, Macy Lang. Lang now back to Hecht. Hecht to Nelson. Nelson going to have to go back to the middle of the field. Back to the middle of the field to Hecht. Now it's going to be sent break side to the end zone. It's caught. Terrific grab by McLaughlin. She records another point. It's 11-5 Colorado.
That was a great job by McLaughlin. The Alpenglow just had a beautiful clean hold to start the second half. Replay is coming on now. All the way from that home sideline to the away sideline for the score. And that was some good pressure by Chambliss. Just McLaughlin had the better positioning to get the score.
A terrific delivery into open space. Alpenglow have started this half looking very sharp.
Looks like Veldman is gearing up to show us another beautiful pull. Their pulls have been fantastic in that first half.
A little over a minute gone after that first point. Applegate involved as ever. Break side shot to Stetmeyer. Done.
Ooh.
Able to tiptoe.
Just out of bounds.
Can't quite keep it in.
Out of bounds. Disc to Colorado.
This is Brown. Brown facing a hard no around mark, able to get it to Veldman. Veldman centering. And now to the break side space for the Colorado Alpenglow. Andrews now back to the middle of the field. It's going to get launched to Veldman. Veldman's got nothing but daylight. We've got a goal delivered by number 12, Mary Andrews, with the assist.
That's Veldman's third goal of the game, the fourth point with Veldman directly involved.
Yeah, terrific sequence there as we take another look.
Just a beautiful deep space. Powell tried with positioning, but Veldman had both height and the disc was up high over Powell.
And that was my mistake. Excuse me. I think that was May Hecht with the delivery
Hecht.
of that shot.
Yes, number 3, May Hecht.
Looks like I got it wrong. It was called Bristol Lavoie in the stadium as we're trying to discern these numbers under the bright lights. Thank you for bearing with us. Colorado 12, Sidewinders 5. Sidewinders looking for a clean hold, establish some sort of rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
This is about as far as they can go before things start looking completely out of hand. Chang. Chambliss, a bobble on the run.
Very unfortunate drop.
Alicia Dixon dishing to space. Now the Alpenglow look like they're going to slow the pace of things and be very careful with this possession.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Pesh. Pesh working on O'Connell. Terrific around pass. It's going to get broken up with a great block by Thomas.
Cynthia Thomas has always been consistent and hyping up the team with those Ds.
Long shot to Wen. Abby Thorpe is on the job, and there's contact before the throw.
I think it was contact before the catch.
Yeah, Chambliss was actually available there. Made that deep cut. Disc hung a little too high, and there was contact before the catch.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what the resolution is there.
Looks like observer is saying potential no foul. The play stands, and that Thorpe will stay with the disc.
Yeah, that. Back to Pesh on the break side. Alpenglow are off and running. This is Stockdale. Stockdale back to Thorpe. To Pesh. Pesh is going to send it to Dixon, who's got a goal. 13-5, Colorado Alpenglow. Couple of turnovers making life hard for the Sidewinders.
Yeah, and that's the second break already in this second half, and the Sidewinders really need to clean up their possession. Let's look at a replay on this score. It's a beautiful throw from Pesh to Dixon, and Dixon was just able to read it, toe in that line, and get that score.
Yeah, pretty evil forehand by Pesh to rifle it down the sideline like that as quickly as she did. Great sequence for the Alpenglow. They've got to be feeling pretty good about the rhythm that they've found all of a sudden.
Yeah, Thorpe was showing great body control and being aggressive to get the disc at that high point. Once again, we saw it earlier in the first half. Not shocked to see it more the second half.
And Chambliss, not a tall receiver.
Yes.
You get the sense the throw was meant to maybe hang out in front of her a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Harris back to Applegate. Arizona back on offense. It's 13-5. We've got 8.5 to go in the third quarter. That's Powell, who makes a half dive to keep things up and running. Applegate maybe plays it a little too close to the sideline for Pisani. Pisani can't quite keep that one in. We got another Sidewinders turnover.
That zone defense keeps making that line really tantalizing for the Sidewinders.
Black working on Goldstein. This is Brown. Brown backhand shot to the end zone. It's meant for McLaughlin. McLaughlin's got another bucket for the evening. And just like that, it's 14-5. Colorado scored 4 points in this quarter already, and it's not even halfway done. Arizona has scored none at all.
That's a tough way to come out of the second half for the Sidewinders. McLaughlin is having a fantastic game. You mentioned to watch out for McLaughlin before. Let's see this replay. McLaughlin was patient from the back of the stack, saw the moment, and then began their cut. And just ensured they got the grab in case defense from Sonny Harris came in.
Yeah, that quick juke on the inside line.
Yes.
Freed up all kinds of space for McLaughlin.
That's at least their third, potentially their fourth score in this game. Let's see if Alpenglow throws this zony look again. It seems like they're encouraging throws to the sideline and then sending it back to the middle. And it's leaving cutters open right on the line, and we tend to throw it out of bounds every now and then.
Arizona Sidewinders on offense. Aragon.
Looks like it's more of a person defense.
This is Wan, who sends it to Donahue, who's back on the field after taking an injury for a minute. She's going to send it just a little too far for Cynthia Thomas.
Good effort by Donahue to keep the disc in play. Just an unfortunate excited throw afterwards.
Sidewinders on defense, looking to get short field situation. That's Mimic, who's going to send it to Veldman. Veldman trying to break down the mark. Donahue does well to send things to the open side. Ellie Smith, who had that terrific catch in the first half, back to Veldman. Stockdale now working together, sending it back to Mimic. Mimic in a nice spot to attack upfield. Finds Veldman. Veldman checked by Donahue. Chang stops the up line. We're going to get a swing to Dixon. Pesh now able to find some space away from Thomas. Pesh looking to break the mark, and she will. That's a flick pass, and it's just corralled by Mimic. Smith working with Mimic, with Pesh. Pesh, that flick again to Dixon. Up and over. Another goal. As Shayna Brock walks away with a point, the Alpenglow are up 16-5.
That Pesha-Dixon connection that we keep seeing is looking really good the second half. It's just a quick throw, and Dixon will always come down with it, is what we're seeing. Went from Smith. Got it to the break side. And that quick throw right to Dixon.
You almost get the sense that when Dixon floats on the break side like that, the Sidewinders can't afford to stay so far away from her. And that's just giving her all kinds of opportunities. It's almost like we're looking at a rehearsal of a throwing drill that the Alpenglow do in their practices. Someone's going to have to be a little bit closer to that break side cutter.
That really looked like they were just running their system.
It's 15-5 with 6 to go in the third. And as the Sidewinders offense has completely collapsed, we'll see if they can find a spark.
This looks like it's more of a D line playing O currently.
We talked about those conditions and how fatigue is going to be an issue. No doubt that's part of it, but also just to give the offense a little bit of time to mentally reset after spending so much time on the field. This is Caroline O'Connell. She's working the dump space with Helen Eifert.
We're seeing the zony look again from the Alpenglow. It's kind of like a junk zone.
Clogging up that middle space, forcing lots of backfield throws. Eifert looking for options. O'Connell back there with Falk and Eifert. Good assist there by Chambliss, who crashes in just to provide a little bit of variety. It's going to be a blade pass to O'Connell, but O'Connell can't quite get to that one. You get the sense the Alpenglow were looking just for that kind of throw. Fawcett Carmen able to get it to Lavoie.
Looks like timeout call in the field.
Things looked a little out of shape here. I think that timeout tells us a lot about what Colorado is looking to get out of the rest of this game.
Yeah, like I said before, they are gearing up for finishing this season unbeaten, and they want to be as clean as possible going into that Super Bloom game next weekend. That's determining who that number 1 seed is going into championships.
Yeah, and the offense looked just a little out of sorts, and it meant an immediate timeout.
Yeah.
As the Sidewinders go back to the drawing board for how to get past this zone.
And what I'm seeing in this zone is that it is doing exactly what it wants to do, which is forcing those over-the-top throws to a leading space that's typically getting thrown away. In the zone, you typically want to throw directly at the cutter and not leading them to space, because with that loose defense downfield, it's more likely to get D'd if it's a loose throw.
Yeah, it looks like the Sidewinders' options have been primarily to try to get it to the sideline or try to lob it over the zone. Haven't quite found the cutting lanes to reliably break it down. We've got a 10-point deficit where at one point we had 2. Nelson, Kawabata. Kawabata back to the middle to Thorpe. Kawabata working a nice give and go. She's going to send it into the end zone.
Not quite
Not quite into the end zone. Macy Lang
looks like
will
there was a
pitch
call
it
on the
up and
field.
over to Hecht. But there is a pick call, yes.
Yeah.
thought Lang had made it into the end zone, just doorstepped. And they're saying Hecht might have gotten free off a pick. O'Connell working with the observer there. Make sure everybody's back in position. Sidewinders have one last chance to keep this lead from expanding to 11. Can they find something? It's going to be knifing across the front of the end zone. It somehow works because McLaughlin.
Not in her house. She wants the score. That was a beautiful grab. A lot of traffic in it. I was thinking Sidewinders had a chance to get a turn. Just beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, I present to you a player who is absolutely feeling it.
Oh, yeah. I expect we'll see a few more scores from McLaughlin before the game's over. They are really on fire, and they're just feeling good on the field. They're seeing those openings, and they're getting thrown to.
An absolute statement of a goal where, you know, we talked about this timeout and what Colorado was up to with this timeout. It doesn't look like they executed maybe exactly what they wanted to do. Throwing that disc across the face of the end zone seemed like it was tempting fate, but McLaughlin is on fire.
Yes.
Her goal.
Definitely.
16-5 with 4:26 to go in the third quarter. This has been a positive eruption from the Colorado Alpenglow. They have scored 6 points in 8 minutes.
And Sidewinders have yet to score this half. They really need to punch in the score just to up their spirits and get their game going.
Paige Applegate sending it out wide. Powell able to find Stetmeyer. Stetmeyer sending it deep to Falk. Falk's got it! Terrific two-handed grab by Falk. And the goal is to Donahue. Assist by Falk. There's a brief conversation about was there
Potential travel call if it's USAU rules. But it looks like the goal is being held, so Falk to Donahue. Big throw from Stetmeyer to the deep space. Great job on Falk for grabbing that, coming in. And then Donahue patiently waiting there.
Stockdale really tried to high point it. Falk had the better read. Terrific concentration on that play. And finally, a score for the Sidewinders in the second half.
I'm curious if that is Falk's first assist ever in the WUL.
Puts Arizona on the board for the third quarter.
Great running of the field by Falk and Donahue there to open things up for the Sidewinders. 6-16, 3:57 to go on the stadium. Sidewinders play some defense for a change. Alpenglow up and moving right away. Out to the side. Thorpe in a favorite spot of hers for attacking downfield, but it's clapped. Ito, normally so reliable downfield, just kind of claps out of her hands. This is Chang working with O'Connell. That's Spiegel. He's going to dish it up line to O'Connell. Spiegel is trying to stretch the field as aggressively as possible. She's just going to keep going. The disc is going to get sent. There's Spiegel. Here she comes.
Oh,
it's a goal!
What a great grab by Spiegel. And that was a break for the Sidewinders.
Sidewinders storm the field on this one. Spiegel never stopped running and applying pressure. Can't wait to take another look at that one.
And that's something that's really upping the spirits of the team. This is what they needed for this half. And Spiegel did a great job of coming from the backspace. And hopefully we'll see that from there. Spiegel came from the backspace, immediately went deep. Chip Chang has the disc. You know that disc is going to go deep. What a great layout grab by Spiegel.
Sidewinders finding a spark in these last 2 points. It's now 7-16 with 3:14 to go. Spiegel, normally a defensive player who's just kind of applies relentless pressure, known for her speed. Really great breakdown of the defense there with her movement.
Just a very tough person to be matched up against, and to play defense against is just crucial against her. She's so fast.
Great sequence by Spiegel. That sets the Sidewinders up to play defense again. And here's Falk streaking down the field.
Putting pressure further back this time.
Yeah, this is Mayan Win, who's on the other side of the field as the rail applying pressure, but now the Alpenglow are able to just get it right past half field with a couple of passes. Hecht breaking the mark. Kawabata trying to find something on that inside angle.
Really wanted that break.
But Steph
Ooh.
Wynn's mark is good. Thorpe is able to tow it in back to the middle of the field. That's Ito. Ito's just going to send a knife.
Ooh.
It'll be a little too far for
It's a
McLaughlin.
little too much of an IO angle. Or OI.
An opportunity for a break for the Arizona Sidewinders. O'Connell now in a great position. Backhand rip. Two runners.
Floaty.
It's going to be a contest in the air. It's caught. Terrific work by Sierra Ross.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
She finds an outlet to Cynthia Thomas, who's going to send it to O'Connell. And there's going to be a timeout called by the
Timeout
coaching
call.
staff of the Arizona Sidewinders.
The Sidewinders have picked up their pace.
It was a committee meeting called at the 30-yard line. Sierra Ross had the better read and came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Crucial grab by Sierra Ross, number 99.
And that was a great read, especially for how high and floaty that disc was. That makes it where it's a 50-50 when it's up in the air that long.
I think we had 4 players in the vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
The Sidewinders with an opportunity to score their 3rd point of the quarter.
Their second break, potentially. I think these 2 points are what the Sidewinders have been needing. You can see that the sideline is much more excited. The team is getting pumped up. They want to get back in this game, and that is what they need to get back in it.
Sidewinders in a vertical stack in this end zone set. This is Paige Applegate to pick up. They put the offensive line in on a personnel change at the timeout. Powell back for Applegate.
Melissa Dunn in a threatening position right now.
Checked by Lavoie. Is Dunn. Dunn to the break side space. Dunn manages to find some daylight. She's able to find Applegate again. Sidewinders looking for some kind of gain that'll get them across the line. They've got to go backwards for a minute, but then Powell with terrific work on the give and go. It's going to free up some break side space for O'Connell. O'Connell right to the break side, and it's caught,
Yes!
towed in by Mel Dunn, showered in fireworks or whatever kind of Mylar streams appear to be flying at her. Terrific grab by Mel Dunn. Sidewinders score another.
Second break in a row, and whatever that giant thing exploding in the background is, it's working. This was a patient end zone. The Sidewinders looked like they stuck with what that system is, got it to the break side. Excellent read by Dunn to tow it in. That was a high grab and around defense, so really good read by Dunn.
Sidewinders scoring again. Their 4th of the quarter.
That was Dunn's second goal of the game. She also has an assist, so being a part of 3 of those 8 scores is a good game for her.
Sidewinders finding offense in both new and familiar places. Back on defense. This defensive line, which we saw previously, is now back. Some of the same personnel are taking the field, including O'Connell. Good coverage, but Nelson comes up with it. This is a dangerous spot for, and it looks like there's a call for stall as Eifert thinks Thorpe took a little too long to find Nelson.
Looks like they're going to the observer. Uncontested. And that means that the Sidewinders have a chance.
Another turnover forced by the Sidewinders. Looks like the Sidewinders have been very good at trapping them on that sideline and making life hard. Chang,
Yes.
or Aragon picks up, or Chang picks up. Aragon streaking for Chang. Back to the middle of the field. Aragon backhand to O'Connell. Eifert looks free. It's going to be backhand to the end zone. Eifert's got it with 2 hands.
Yes, Eifert. And
Big
that
spike to punctuate it.
another break. I will say I'm counting that as a bookends for Eifert because Eifert was a fantastic mark that caused the turnover for Sidewinders to get this chance. And Sidewinders getting it off the line initially. Aragorn to O'Connell, and O'Connell just seeing that big throw. Eifert laying out to get their beautiful coverage.
Tough position for Thorpe to be in, where the runner's running away from it and a well-placed disc, but you get the sense if it was offline just a little bit, Thorpe would have had a nice chance at that.
Yes.
9-16, things have suddenly become much more interesting. We've got just under a minute to go as Arizona pulls the gap.
The Sidewinders are catching up on those breaks that started this half to make it less of that big gap in the score.
Eifert still on the field. Delivers the pull downwind. It's going to hang and be a little short, but it is going to give some time for the Sidewinders to get into their positions. Mimic. Veldman. Veldman to Pesh. Pesh back to Veldman. 30 seconds to go. Sidewinders need to turn it, and they need to turn it soon. This is Dixon, who's been terrific tonight. Veldman back in the middle of the field in a commanding position. Backhand break to Pesh. Pesh, who's so dangerous on this sideline tonight, sends that flick again. Alpenglow send it across the field.
A second score for Smith.
Smith read it perfectly and was able to come across into that near cone space.
That was a great across the field throw. Smith was in a great position and got that second score. Just the patience, seeing that the turn happened, and beautiful placement to get that disc to Smith. It looks like Spiegel was helping defense, was close to getting a D there.
We haven't seen a lot of those kinds of throws from Shayna Brock tonight. But that one was right on the money.
That was very much on the money. Looks like a similar line for our Alpenglow. There's some common players in the last one.
9-17, 7.5 seconds left to go. Alpenglow coming up with some surprises of their own. This is a pull by Facet Carmen. Jameson.
Sidewinders just need to maintain possession.
Goldstein. Applegate. And the Sidewinders are going to be working on that away sideline. It's been dangerous for both teams. Applegate checked by Brown. Goldstein, terrific grab. Done. We're still on that far sideline. Sidewinders looking to swing at last. Relieve some of that defensive pressure. Jameson back to the middle to Powell. Powell, not a lot of options. She's going to take a short option from Applegate.
It's like a
There's
stall
going to be
call.
a stall called. Mary Andrews thinks that it was 7 seconds before Powell was able to get it to Applegate. No stall. Observer overruled. Looks like Applegate will hold on to it. Sidewinders getting close to the red zone. We'll see if they can come up with another and get this just a little bit closer. Last possession, Applegate. Pisani. Back to Applegate. Applegate. Up line to Powell.
Looks like a foul call.
Another stoppage of play. Looks like there might have been some contact.
Applegate signed a foul.
Looks like there was some contact between Brown and Applegate in the shuffle. As the observers work it out with the players.
Yeah.
Things
Looks like
will
the
remain.
Yeah, just stays because it wasn't involved in the play, and if it was a completed play.
Applegate's able to swing it across the field to Melt Dunn. Dunn's going to IO, shoot it.
That's a great way to end this quarter.
Pisani hunting down that IO shot on the break side by Mel Dunn. Sidewinders have 10 points. Alpenglow had 17. Both teams showing offensive explosions, but also some offensive collapses.
Yes, we were worried for a little bit. Looks like Sidewinders came back. Here's Dunn. Patience, looking for it, gave some communication, and then look at this inside flick right to Pisani, who has the stickiest fingers on the Sidewinders.
Black could kind of smell that inside-out throw coming. Her hands were low. She was very active on the mark. But Dunn was able to get it past her anyways.
And that was a great way to end that quarter, I think, after starting 0-5 on this first half or the second half, to come back and regain those points and only be down by 2 more breaks compared to the start of that second quarter or second half.
It's 17-10 at the end of the third. And we'll see you after the break for the final quarter of the Arizona Sidewinders season.
And our first ticket.
Are you dreaming of such a winner's
And our second raffle ticket winner, 715-884. 884. That's 715-879 and 884. You are the big winners tonight. Please head to the merchandise tent for your raffle. We'd also like to announce the separate raffle for our season ticket and VIP season ticket holders. Winners were drawn before the game. Our winners tonight are Kelly Lim and Carly Morrison. Kelly Lim and Carly Morrison, you have won jerseys from your Arizona Sidewinders. Congratulations, Kelly Lim and Carly Morrison. And it's the final quarter of the final game. Get on your feet and make some noise for your women.
Picking up as the fourth quarter begins, Colorado Alpenglow on defense. Sidewinders on offense. Both teams experiencing some collapses in the third. We can see the conditions and some of these long points starting to catch up. Jameson. Applegate. Stetmeyer. Back to Pisani. Into the middle for Goldstein. Here's Applegate. Back to Goldstein. Applegate again, scanning the back of the end zone, and it looks like there's contact downfield. The pace of this game downfield is so different from the first quarter.
They have definitely slowed down the game. They're being more patient, looking for that open undercut more often.
Applegate flipping it up. Powell. Applegate now catching it off the give and go. Upline shot. Leah Jameson off the give and go.
It's good to start this last quarter with a hold, and Sidewinders were looking more patient. As you said, we are slowing down the pace. In this replay, we'll see that Jameson was being patient and did that give and go to immediately get to the score. Sidewinders were patient in their end zone set. Gave it to Jameson, immediately throw open, go open, textbook end zone score right there.
I'll remind everyone, it's still 94 degrees outside and no humidity.
And on the turf, 94 is probably closer to 97, 98 still.
Jameson able to dig and find the legs to get free on that one. I think we're seeing plenty of cutters in the last 10 to 15 minutes try to burst to get open deep, and the opportunities just aren't there anymore at this late in the game and this kind of situation. We'll see if the Sidewinders can pull out a block. 17-11, just a minute expired. in the fourth quarter. Alpenglow commanded by Nelson. Nelson sending it wide to Veldman. Veldman wide open, Macy Lang. Lang can't quite get it around Madison Spiegel, who's looking to punish. Oh, forgive me. It's Hannah Heaton. Hannah Heaton looking to punish on the turn, as she's still stretching deep. O'Connell back to Aragon.
Potential trip.
Nelson hitting the deck there. Yeah, so that was Heaton chasing Lang when she was open and then able to apply enough pressure so that Lang had it skip to the turf, and then Heaton able to reverse course and just stretch downfield immediately. There's some conversation going on with Aragon and Kawabata.
I think it's where the stall goes in after that talk on the field.
That's Wan offering, but
Aragon
it's going to get
sending it
launched
deep.
right away. Here is Madison Spiegel trying to track it. It's blocked away.
Very smart defense from Ito.
Here's Nelson, who will pick up. Alpenglow in a vertical stack. Veldman all the way at the back. Checked by Wan for the Sidewinders. Sidewinders bracket, shut down the Veldman cut. We're going to take a short one to Lang. Lang to Ito. And now wide to Veldman. Veldman looking to send it backhand inside out to Ito. Kawabata. Kawabata's got it. Terrific cut, terrific rip.
That was a throw where Veldman caught it and knew exactly what they wanted to throw. You just saw the big fake to that break backhand deep. Perfectly spaced out for the deep cutter. I just love that fake. Beautiful backhand throw. Kawabata has been solid this entire game. No shock there. Really great grab.
And really this whole season, watching the Alpenglow, Kawabata has been terrific in finding these spaces. And just a very creative cutter downfield. And you're right, it looks like Veldman might have seen that look before.
Yes. Veldman knew exactly what they wanted.
It's Facet Carmen with the pull. Sidewinders 11, Alpenglow 18. Applegate. This is done.
It's that zone that we saw earlier.
Applegate sending it to Harris. Harris going to go back to Applegate. Applegate doesn't want to hold on to it very long at all. That's done. Sidewinders finally find some daylight just a little bit behind that zone, but Stepmeyer's now stranded on this sideline. Applegate to the rescue, and now a quick shot downfield to Dunn. Before you know it, the Sidewinders are in the red zone. Applegate looking for Dunn. Dunn back to Applegate. Dunn, terrific shot to be able to offer that space up right off the give and go. Sidewinders getting so much of that, so much offense from that action tonight. Dunn is going to have to look off Applegate. That's Harris. Harris, backhand shot. Luna Falk with a goal.
That was great patience from the Sidewinders. They're really generating movement with their give and go and following that disc, and at this point they were patient, got that break around. I think this Luna Falk had an assist earlier. This could potentially be her first goal in the WUL.
So much activity downfield from Falk. I think we're about to see it again.
Yeah. Great job by Dunn by staying back. This around to Sunny. Beautifully done. And Falk getting that score. She looked very happy to score that.
And I think that's Falk really capitalizing on the matchup there. Facet Carmen is not a player she's going to want to match up with in the air.
Yes.
But she did a really nice job of setting up her cut and then getting to that open space on the other side of her,
Yeah.
exactly what she needed to do.
And Falk is quick in those small spaces, and Facet Carmen being so tall, it's hard to get those changes of direction.
Sidewinders pulling. Trying to pull out a block or two. It's 12-18. We've got 8 minutes to go in this matchup. Here's O'Connell. He's really anchored a lot of these points. This is Nelson looking to go. She sneaks it back up the sideline to Hecht. Tipped by Thorpe, but her hands have been terrific tonight. She's just going to send it right away.
What a throw.
Ito. Good cut.
Beautiful cut. Thorpe playing with the disc by juggling it a little bit, but I'm sure there's no fear. And what a good throw to Ito. Ito had so much space in that backfield. I wonder if there was a miscommunication on a switch from the Sidewinders.
Made so much space on the cut.
Mm-hmm.
The catch became trivial.
And even though Alpenglow are up by about 7 points right now, the point diff does matter in this game, so we do not expect them to take their feet off the gas pedal. They do want to get every point that they can right now.
Sidewinders on offense. They've got 12. Alpenglow have 19. Sidewinders on offense again. This is Donahue. Donahue back to Applegate. Applegate has just been such a high usage player holding this offense together.
I love that high release flick.
Powell going to lose some yards to Jamison, but then it's going to get it right back. Going to look downfield to Stetmeyer. Beautiful delivery.
Oh,
just a little too
out.
far.
We know if that was inbound, Stetmeyer's hands would have definitely caught that.
Coming out of her hand, the float looked perfect, but I think the curve of the disc was off.
I agree.
Sidewinders will be back on defense.
Alpenglow with a break opportunity.
Brown, beautiful break throw. Will it be too far? It will.
Sidewinders get the disc back right at the end zone.
Flipping to Powell. We've seen that throw before. And Dixon can do nothing but congratulate Paige Applegate on a throw that she has made a lot of points out of over the last few years.
And Applegate, and this entire point was crucial even prior to the turnover. Applegate is the one getting the disc at every time, making sure that the offense pacing is set by her. And no shock that she got the assist in this point.
6:20 to go. Sidewinders on defense. Colorado Alpenglow trying to finish this one out. What feels like a depleting matchup either way.
I will say both teams are showing everything tonight.
Thorpe has also had a great game. Nelson to Kawabata.
Oh,
Just a little too
miscue.
far behind. Aragon, no conscience. It's going to go to Heaton. Or
Helen
Eifert,
get it?
who comes away with it on a diving grab.
What a stolen score by Eifert.
It looked maybe just a little too... I can't tell if it was a little too far for Heaton. Let's see.
And really, this is potentially play of the game. That was definitely too far, and Helen, great job just getting there, putting everything on the line to lay out and get the score. That is likely Helen's third goal tonight. She is really showing her leadership on the team. She has been on the Sidewinders, I think, since the start. She's one of the founding members. And she just puts her heart and soul in this team.
It looked like all hope had been lost on that possession.
I agree. I was shocked that it was caught. That was a beautiful catch.
A superhero play by Helen Eifert to bring it 14-19. Just a 5-point difference with 5:50 to go. 5 points is a lot for this time allotted, but anything can happen. The Sidewinders are making this interesting. Mimak in the middle of the field working with Dixon. Stockdale back to Dixon. Dixon now upfield to Smith.
Pick call happened before that. Looks
This
like
is
there's no
Heaton
contest.
again, checking Dixon. Breakside shot. Alpenglow working on that breakside once again. Pesh with that lefty to the breakside. Charging out and diving. It's McLaughlin.
McLaughlin wanted to answer to Helen's layout grab, I'm pretty sure.
Outstanding play by Jade McLaughlin.
And at least 5 scores tonight from McLaughlin alone. 6 scores total is what I was just told. So 6 scores. What an amazing game. Look, this beautiful throw. McLaughlin put on the speed right at the end. Got there, one-handed grab. What a beautiful catch.
Outstanding placement by Pesh.
Yes.
I feel like we've been seeing that lefty break
Yes.
by Pesh over and over again tonight. She's been very effective.
Pesh has been really effective, I think, almost every time her line's out. She is either the hockey assist or right in the middle for that real assist.
Arizona Sidewinders looking to make it 15-20. We've got a little over 5 minutes to go in this game. How will the Sidewinders end their season? Jameson to Applegate. Applegate, who has been in command of this team when it comes to offense. Everything runs through her. She finds Stetmeyer on the wide side, and the Alpenglow look like they're starting to sag into those spaces again, Irene.
Sidewinders are being more patient against this zone this time, though. They're getting more success of just slowly working the disc down.
I also get the sense that as the zone fatigues, they're not able to recover as quickly. This is just a punishing environment to run zone.
I agree. Big around throw.
That's Goldstein, who sends it immediately to Dunn. Stetmeyer offers deep. Jameson playing give and go with Dunn. Applegate looking for something wide. Harris. Sani making a breakside offer. Finds Applegate again towards the middle of the field as the Sidewinders look to get into some kind of end zone. End zone has been challenging for the Sidewinders this season. We've got a stoppage of play. Looks like a pick on the field. Sidewinders lining up in a vertical stack with Applegate surveying things. We'll see what happens when things pick up.
Looks like they're trying to get into their end zone set. They're a little spread out right now.
Not quite red zone. Applegate, inside out break, Goldstein. That's Harris. She's able to find Jameson. Now Applegate. Goldstein trying to make something happen. Jameson looking to clear space. We've got another stoppage of play. Tired players working hard. Lots of contact.
Timeout, Arizona.
Okay. Timeout call by Arizona.
Absolutely messy sequence. We're going to break for commercial. We'll join you on the other side.
Only for extreme athletes who eat dominance.
Actually, let's skip that part. Combat Candy is for everyone who trains hard and deserves better than choking down powder. 5 grams of science-backed creatine and a gummy that turns supplement routine into something to look forward to. Just because your workout is serious business doesn't mean your creatine supplement has to be. Combat Candy, making strength frickin' delicious. Try it at combatcandies.com.
we're back on the other side of this timeout. Arizona Sidewinders, who have occasionally struggled in the red zone, now with a fresh look as they get into their end zone set. Paige Applegate to pick up. She is checked by Mimek.
Once again, we see Dunn at the front of the stack after a timeout.
Powell off to the side. We're off. Swing it immediately. Good defense by the Alpenglow. Dump side action. Going to be more give and go. The handlers for the Sidewinders. And we're going to flip it.
Oh.
We're going to drag it. And we've got a goal for Brittany Stetmeyer.
What a great grab by Stetmeyer, towing the line. And no shocker, Applegate being a part of every other point. Let's see this replay. Sidewinders did a great job of securing the disc. Even though we stayed at the sideline, they were patient and they still got that disc to be stuck in to get that score, keeping the game within 5.
Arizona Sidewinders managed to score in a lane that was 2 molecules wide off the sideline. Also speaks to just how robust the defense of the Alpenglow has been tonight. They are fighting so hard to stop the swing, even late. 3 minutes to go, 20-15. Aragon to offer the pull. Long one. Makes it all the way to the end zone. As a Sidewinder sprint to get in position. Nelson's first couple options are shut down, but Ito open.
Big throw.
Ito's got to get rid of it. Tracked by 2 Sidewinders versus Thorpe.
Oh.
Nobody can get it.
Looks like a high stall decision.
Aragon. Back to Heaton. Heaton sending it long and across the field for O'Connell. Eifert. Coming back upfield is able to get the dump. Aragon working out in open space. Now Eifert's got it. Eifert's looking downfield. She's just going to send it. Janet Wan trying to see if she can come up with it. Not quite.
Good effort by Wan.
Seemed like Wan almost got it. Pesh a little taller. Had an advantage. Thorpe. Deep. Kawabata. Checked by Aragon.
Wow.
Kawabata, what a grab. Right on the sideline. 21-15, Alpenglow.
Thorpe knows when Kawabata is going deep that Kawabata is going to catch it, and that was just a beautiful throw. Good effort by Aragon. Had great positioning. I just think Kawabata is just going to catch those every time.
I would have to check my notes to see if Kawabata is a lefty or righty. But we should point out that that was a lefty grab.
That was.
Just to make sure that there was enough body control to keep the defender at bay in LP Aragon.
According to my notes, right-handed.
Right-handed. Terrific play. Let's all appreciate that one for a second. What a great catch. We know the thrower did not want to necessarily take that trajectory. Alpenglow back on defense. Sidewinders 15, Alpenglow 21. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game and the season for the Arizona Sidewinders. The story of this season is going to be one of near misses that accumulate to some consistent losses. A lot of bright spots, however. I think we can see those showcased in a game like this one tonight. Foundations for a lot of things that are positive as Dunn sends it deep, looking to find Pisani, but broken up by Megan Maxfield.
Looks like Donahue got injured in the middle of that play.
We'll have a stoppage.
It's like a foul and injury. I'm wondering if Donahue got tripped up in the legs.
We could be going back. we were talking about some bright spots for the Arizona Sidewinders, and I think we did get to see both their defensive offense and their offensive offense operate at, some of the highest levels that we've seen this season.
I think that they are definitely playing to their best potential in this last half of their last game. Fault coming in for Donahue.
Number 13, Luke Long comes in for number 17.
Donahue, who will...
Looks like the end of that play stood just as it was. Alpenglow starting off into a vert stack.
Here's Applegate on the mark for Sidewinders. A minute to go in the season. It's a turnover.
Sidewinders have a chance to work their end zone right at the top of the line.
Break throw. Done. Goal.
That was a great job by the Sidewinders. They put on pressure to immediately get a turn after they turned it over from offense to D. And on this replay, I want to see Paige's beautiful break side throw. I love her high releases. Look at that release. Always pretty. Done. Has been coming down with everything. She has had a great last couple of weeks in the WL. No shock. She is always a solid player.
21-16 with a minute to go.
Sidewinders have done a great job of keeping the game intact this last quarter. We were down by 7 points at quarter 3, and now we're down by 5. So we're catching up. We're keeping it from getting out of our hands. If they get a break here, we'll get kind of closer. There's 1 minute to go.
This is Chip Chang pulling for the Sidewinders. What could be the last point of this matchup as the Sidewinders rush down on defense. Alpenglow looking to finish strong as well. Abby Thorpe now in the handler space, sending it high.
Ooh.
A quick drop. That looked like it bounced off the turf.
I think
looks like they're going to call it up. Veldman, looks like she got it. Another diving grab. Kawabata able to keep it. 2 incredible grabs in a row by the Alpenglow. Veldman going to make it a third.
Looks like there's some talk on the field right now. I'm wondering if they're questioning the up or down of those throws. A timeout call.
Timeout call by Colorado.
I think, like before, they want to slow down their O-line right now.
Coaches can possibly detect an incoming conservation of greatness situation, but how about the work by Kawabata and Veldman?
Those were very crazy grabs. I think on Veldman's where you thought it bounced off the turf, it was actually like on their core, and they just turned underneath.
It's 40 seconds to go with a difference of 6 points on our scoreboard over here, and I think Veldman and Kawabata making sure that viewers have plenty of athleticism to watch as the game closes out.
Veldman definitely has been putting on a show, as well as Kawabata.
That's Nelson in the dump space.
Looks like they're starting out in a vert stack. See Abby at the top of the stack. I'm wondering if Abby's going to an immediate cut.
Wynn and Ross getting their positions straight. Sidewinders have been good shutting down the initial action so far off these timeouts. Great undercut by Thorpe. He's going to flip it to Nelson. He's going to find that space wide with Hecht. Alpenglow just working it in the backfield as time ticks down.
Looks like they just want to waste time right now.
Alpenglow look like they're in complete control. Here's Kawabata. That's a backhand shot.
They got the
That's
score.
going to end up in a goal for Ito.
They wanted to punch in that score and get another chance on D.
22-16. We've got 8 seconds to go.
That was patient by Kawabata. See that big opening cut, and this, you just have to take it when Ito's there.
Yeah, some of these break side looks
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're opening up wider and wider
Yeah.
as we get closer to the end of the game.
I think I will commend Colorado on consistently getting the disc from one sideline to the other all game. I think that is a big piece of their success all season. They have trust to utilize the whole width of the field.
Both sides have to be absolutely exhausted after this one.
Yes.
Sidewinders need to find Aaron Donahue about 18 ice packs.
I agree.
Fans, get on your feet. It's the final possession.
Final point of the season for the Arizona Sidewinders. And it's in Applegate's hands as time expires.
Time expires.
Pisani. Goldstein. Back to Applegate, who rips up line. Pisani releasing to the end zone. Applegate finds Stetmeyer coming underneath in the newfound space. Stetmeyer. Turnover. Block. Victory for the Alpenglow. End of season for the Arizona Sidewinders. Alpenglow are going to go on next week to have a showdown with San Diego.
Yes, and that'll be probably the toughest matchup for Alpenglow all season, and it'll be determining who will be that unbeaten regular season team for the WUL.
Let's take a look at the Discraft play of the game as the teams line up.
It looks like it was this deep throw from LP all the way to Helen on one of the most beautiful layouts that we've seen all night. What a great job. What a good Discraft play of the game.
Terrific win by the Alpenglow. Really great moments for the Arizona Sidewinders as they wind down their season. Discraft play of the game, really a nice indicator to remind us of some really high performance moments for the Sidewinders as they go into their offseason looking forward to next year. Thank you for joining us this season for a whole season of Western Ultimate League with the Arizona Sidewinders. Signing off from Tempe. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Simeone signing off with Irene Faust. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
How do you want to